Hello friends, this is Seher from Easy Peasy, and the topic that we are going to discuss today is called as measurements in chemistry. So, chemistry is a quantitative study. That means it involves tools like thermometers, scales, measuring tapes, graduated cylinders, and the results are expressed in numerical terms like numbers. It is not a qualitative data that only relies on our five senses. Now, for example, if we have these pile of books and we say 1, we get confused. What does that mean? Is it 1 kg or 1 foot? So when you use a unit with the number, then it makes sense that what we are doing there. So unit is basically tell us what we are measuring, such as mass, length, or volume. So in this world, we use different systems of units. So here the blue color is showing us the metric system. That is the most common system, or it is also called as international unit of system. The second is the little yellow part you can see over here is the main system of measurements that are unknown. Then you have the green part that is the customary unit system. It is also called as English system or Imperial system. Then we have a purple area. They both use the metric and Imperial system. And there are a little teeny tiny bit of red part where we have an unknown non-metric system as well. Okay, let's talk about informal measurement systems. That involves hand span, cubit, arm span, pace, foot span, a pinch of salt, a handful of rice, a drop of liquid. Now we as a chemist don't use these terms in order to do the experiments because arm span of a person depends on their height or their weight, and the pinch of salt doesn't have any exact value. So as a chemist, we don't use this system for chemistry. Okay, let's move on to the next system, and that is the Imperial system. There are 3 different words for this system. It is called as English system, Imperial system, or US customary system. Now, it is a collection of functionally unrelated units that are difficult to convert from one unit to another. Let's discuss them one by one. So the first one is length. In order to measure length, we have mile. When mile is going to convert in yards, we need to multiply it with 1,760. In 1 yard, we have 3 feet. In 3 feet, we have 12 inches. And again, if we want to convert these values back into the bigger one, we just need to divide the value. So divide 12 if we want to convert inches to feet, feet divide by 3 into yard, and then yard divided by 1,760 to convert it in miles. Okay, next is mass. So in Imperial system, we measure it in ton. In 1 ton, we have 2,000 pounds, and in 1 pound, we have 16 ounces. Again, if we want to convert the values back, we just need to divide the number. If we talk about capacity or volume, then these are the units used in Imperial system. It starts with gallon. In 1 gallon, we have 4 quarts. In 1 quart, we have 2 pints. In 1 pint, we have 2 cups. In 1 cup, we have 8 fluid ounces. In 1 fluid ounces, we have 2 tablespoons. In 1 tablespoon, we have 3 teaspoons. And again, if we want to convert these values back into the bigger value, we just need to divide the same number of the conversion rate. So last is the temperature. The degree Fahrenheit are the customary units of temperature. So at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, the water freezes, and at 2012 degrees Fahrenheit, the water boils. Now, in order to convert one conversion into another, you must know the conversion factor, which is the relationship between the 2 units. Let's take an example. So we convert 12 gallons to quarts. You should know how many quarts are present in 1 gallon. So there are 4 quarts present in 1 gallon. Just put the values, do the cross multiplication, and you can get the answer. And that is 48 quarts in 12 gallons. So as a chemist, I am more worried about my chemical reaction than remembering these conversion units. It is not based on the power of 10. The conversions are complicated, not globally standardized in science. This makes calculations messy in chemistry. So we are not going to use this system as a chemist. Okay, last system is the metric system. It is also called as SI, that stands for International Units of System. The metric system is much simpler and more organized. All units are connected, conversions are based on power of 10, you just move the decimal point. Let's take an example. So for lengths, we have the unit that is in meter. And if we go towards the bigger side, we can say it will be kilometer, hectometer, decameter, meter. And if we go towards the lower side, we can use the word decimeter, centimeter, and millimeter. Now these words, kilo, hecto, deca, deci, centi, milli, is common for all type of units. And the best part is the conversion. So in 1 kilo, we have 10 hecto. In 1 hecto, we have 10 deca. In 1 deca, we have 10 meters. In 1 meter, we have 10 decimeters. In 1 decimeter, we have 10 centimeters. And in 1 centimeter, we have 10 millimeters. Again, if we are going to convert the small value into the bigger value, we just need to divide it by 10, like this. Okay, now let's check about capacity. Now, as we discussed before, that for capacity, the base unit will be liter, and the other units will remain the same. So we will have kiloliter, hectoliter, decaliter, deciliter, centiliter, and milliliter. And the conversion from one unit into another will again be the same. That is, multiply by 10 if you're going from a bigger value to a smaller value, or divide by 10 if you're going from a smaller value to a bigger value. Now let's discuss about mass. For mass, the base unit is grams. And again, the other units will remain the same. So we will have kilogram, hectogram, decagram, decigram, centigram, and milligram. And the conversion units are again the same. That is, multiply by 10 if you're going from a bigger value to small, and divide by 10 if you're going from a small value to a big value. And there is a one-line memory trick for prefixes. So the maximum value is mega and the minimum value is the micro. And these are the common units that we need to convert from one to another. So the common one-line memory trick for these units is King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Here king is kilo, Henry is hecto, died is deca, by is the base unit that can be meter, grams, and liter depending on what you are measuring. Then drinking is deci, chocolate is centi, and milk is milli. So if you just remember this, you will know how to convert them from one unit into another. Now let's use this conversion rate to convert this value from kilograms to milligram. The answer is 4,700 milligram. Okay, how we did that? Remember the one-line memory trick. That is, the King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Now here, the king or kilo is here. And we need to convert this value into milligrams. How many steps we go down? So we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So in 1 kilogram, we have 6 zeros in order to convert into milligram. Right? So we have the conversion, and now we just need to use this value and multiply it with the value that is given in the question, and we will have our answer. Right? Easy peasy. Now Now, last but not the least, let's talk about temperature. In metric system, we have two units for measuring the temperature. First is the Celsius or centigrade. Again, it's very easy because water freezes at 0 centigrade and boils at 100. But what about the other unit that is present in metric system? The other unit is called as Kelvin. It is represented by K, and it is basically a temperature on which the average kinetic energy of particles are almost zero. So if you look at this bar, you can see we have centigrade line and we have a Kelvin line. Kelvin is the absolute zero, which means the lowest possible temperature. And at this point, the Celsius will be minus 273.16. At this point, the particle motion is minimum, and Kelvin doesn't have any degree sign on it. And the relationship of Kelvin with Celsius is that if we need to find Kelvin, we just need to add 273 with Celsius value. Let's take an example. So what is the Kelvin value of 37 degrees centigrade? Yep, the answer is 310. How come? Just put the formula. So we will just add 273 with the Celsius value and the answer will be 310. So as a scientist, the SI system or the metric system is quite valuable for us because it is based on the power of 10, it is easy to convert, it is used worldwide and designed for the science. So this is the system that we usually use in order to conduct our experiments. That's it for now. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe this channel. Thank you. Bye for now.